give me a big hug.
Tammy Howard calls Brandon her miracle son, every day making improvements here at Bryn Mawr Rehab Hospital in Malvern. She says she never would have imagined this. Back on September 9th, when their nightmare began, Brandon walking with a friend near their King of Prussia home to a nearby store, and then the call.
We had a daughter named Brianna, and life was picture perfect for a while, and then she was 2 and she was diagnosed with leukemia. So January 19th, 2002, I went into the kitchen to get her meds, and I came back and she was gone. It took our family like a tidal wave, just crashed over us. And we tried to go on. We had Chase. He's always been Mr. Comedian. So he made us smile. He brought some laughter back into the house. And there was times where I felt like God took Brianna because I wasn't worthy enough to parent a daughter. So Sabella was almost God's way of saying, no, that didn't come from me. And this is just a whole new, fresh start for our family. We were getting stronger and stronger every day. All these wonderful things were happening. So September 9th, 2012, Brandon went to work, and he came home and he said he was going to go to the store to get a Monster. And we lived on a road where going to the store wasn't necessarily a safe thing. And I said to him, let me drive you to the store. And then he looked at me and he's like, Mom, I'm a grown man. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna follow me all over the neighborhood? And I said, perhaps, you know. And I guess it was not even a half an hour after that my husband's phone was ringing. What do you mean they don't know where he has been taken? What do you mean they don't know if he's alive? I was shouting to God, you know, how can you do this to me again? The surgeon finally came out. He said they finally stopped the bleed in his brain, but that it was so severe that he wasn't sure if he was going to wake up. I fell on the ground and I just cried out to Jesus. I heard God's voice for the first time probably ever in my life that I can recall. He said to me that Brandon would be okay. I needed to just stand and tell him, rise, my son, rise. I guess I was down there on my knees so confused. I was like, am I talking to myself? What am I hearing? And he said it again. When God's peace washes over you, it's like a different kind of tidal wave all over again. So that's what we did right away. We just stood over him and prayed, and I continuously said, rise, my son, rise. So I guess it was about 2 weeks in, and we were getting ready to be discharged to Bryn Mawr Rehab. And then somehow this one doctor had decided to take upon himself to call the insurance company and tell them that he thought that Brandon shouldn't go. He stood on the one side of Brandon's bed holding the railings, and he said, Mrs. Howard, you don't understand. This is not about your faith. This is about being realistic. So I stood up on the opposite side of the bed and I said, you don't know my son. You don't know my God. I said, until God says that this is over, it's not over. And so we went to rehab, and literally within 2 days, Brandon started waking up. It was like that was where he needed to be. And as soon as we walked on that floor, that's what I felt. I just felt like this is where God is going to do some powerful stuff. Brandon went from less than 10% chance of survival and less than 5% chance of any meaningful outcome, was what they called it, to walking, talking, thriving, you know, praying for people. Boy.
Look at him now. Walking out the door to rehab.
That's right. You may not have walked in, but you're walking out. Like a boss, baby.
Like a boss, mommy.
You know, people look at Brandon and they're like, oh, Brandon, he's healed. But every day, these people aren't there at home. They don't see the struggles that we have to go through. It's a slow process. Some days aren't so good. Some days are harder than others. You know, he has frontal lobe damage, so there's no filter there some days. So I'm still asking God, how long? How long, God? But I know that even in the bad days, I know that God's there.